One way to really improve the culture of your company and the quality of the services that you provide is to really develop a culture of ownership and leadership within your practice. This is something we value really highly at TaxProMarketer. We really encourage and try to develop a sense of ownership in everyone at every level and every part of the organization so that they truly own their area, that they are the master of their area, they are the expert. We want them to become the expert in that area. We try to provide them with the training that they might need to get to that level to where they are an expert in that area, or obviously if they're not coming in with existing expertise, and then to just continue to grow them in those areas. But part of this isn't just from the training that they have, the experience that they have. Part of this is just a sense of ownership, a spirit of ownership, right? We really try to encourage this. And obviously, if you're the business owner, you have this sense of ownership for the company as a whole, but you really want this for each of the people that you employ or manage to have that sense of ownership of their area. And ultimately, the buck is going to stop with you on anything that it needs to, but you want people to have a sense that they really are the ones in charge of their area. You want them to take risks. You want them to find solutions, find answers. You want them to care about their area, become an expert and increasingly become more and more expert in it. Stay up to date on that area. Keep current with the developments in their area. Get continually better and better at it. Truly become an expert in their area and be the one who owns it and cares about it in the way that you would care about it. Part of the way that you do this, or way that we do it at TaxProMarketer, is that we have a preference for forgiveness over permission. That's one of our stated values that we communicate to our team. We have a preference that people would take risks and try to figure out things, even if it sometimes fails and they have to ask for forgiveness. We'd rather them do that than that they would have to ask for permission to try anything all the time and constantly be coming to us that lead the organization or to their supervisor or their coworker to ask if they can have permission to try this thing in the area that we want them to own. But in order to have that succeed and actually be a part of your culture and have people actually take ownership in that way and hold out a value like forgiveness being better than having to ask for permission, is that you actually have to forgive people. And this can be a little tricky. This can be the test, right? This is the test. When someone makes that mistake on that thing they tried and it failed and it maybe costs you a little something, then to actually quickly forgive them and say, hey, I'm glad you took a risk. I'm glad you tried this out. It's better that you tried it out than that you came to me and asked for permission about something that really is within your purview that I've given you for your area. Proud of you for taking the risk, and I forgive you, and lesson learned, right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So having that ethos and actually behaving in that way with your team when those mistakes inevitably do happen that everybody makes from time to time, that's what's actually going to give power to that stated value, and it's actually going to empower that spirit of ownership that you really want to exist throughout your company. And ultimately, you're going to own all the results yourself, right? At least we should. That's what we need to do as owners and operators of our companies. We need to understand that regardless of who may have committed the error or mistake, ultimately, it's on us. Maybe we didn't provide them the kind of training or management or support or resources that they needed to have avoided that mistake. But regardless, it ultimately is on us. Like we could have provided them with what they needed to have avoided that mistake. Having that sense of ownership in your own self and in how you deal with your team, being willing to just explicitly state, hey, ultimately this is on me. That's my mistake. I should have equipped you better so that you could have avoided it, and I'm sorry that I didn't. Being willing to apologize and ask for forgiveness yourself and take ownership yourself, it's a bold move. But again, it's part of what's going to establish that spirit of ownership throughout your company when your people see you owning things yourself.